everyone, welcome back to the channel today. I'm diving into some wild Roblox facts while casually playing Steal a Brainrot in the background. So get comfortable, grab some snacks, and let's explore the insane history and secrets of this platform that literally changed gaming forever. And before we start, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below what country or city you're watching from. I love seeing where you all are tuning in from. Alright, let's get into it. The birth of Roblox and its original name. So, most people don't know this, but Roblox wasn't always called Roblox. Back in 2004, the founders David Baszucki and Eric Castle actually created a physics simulator called Dynablocks, which sounds absolutely nothing like the platform we know today. Imagine telling someone you're playing Dynablocks instead of Roblox. It just doesn't have the same ring to it, right? But this original version was literally just about testing physics and watching blocks interact with each other. Nothing fancy, no avatars running around, no obbies, just pure experimentation with how objects moved and collided in a virtual space. And honestly, when you think about it, that foundation of physics is what makes Roblox feel so different from other games. Even today, the way your character moves, the way buildings collapse in disaster games, the way vehicles handle, all of that comes from those early days of Dynablocks, when the creators were obsessed with making realistic physics interactions. And then in 2005, they rebranded to Roblox, which is a combination of robots and blocks, and that name just clicked with people. It was catchy, memorable, and perfectly described what the platform was about: building things and controlling characters in a blocky world. But here's the thing that most people forget. The transition from Dynablocks to Roblox wasn't just a name change. It represented a fundamental shift in vision from being a pure physics sandbox to becoming a social platform where people could create games and experiences for others to enjoy. And that vision is what turned Roblox into the absolute giant it is today, with millions of users and creators. The Telemon account mystery. Now let's talk about one of the most mysterious accounts in Roblox history. Telemon, also known as Shedletsky. This account belongs to one of the earliest Roblox administrators and creative directors, John Shedletsky. But what makes this account so fascinating is the urban legends and myths that surround it. Back in the early days of Roblox, like 2006 and 2007, Telemon was everywhere, helping moderate the platform, testing new features appearing in random games, and basically being the face of Roblox staff for a lot of players. And because he was so visible, people started creating stories about him. Some players claimed that if Telemon joined your game, it meant something special was about to happen, or that your game was being considered for the front page. Others said that Telemon had secret admin commands that could ban you instantly if you broke the rules. But the wildest theory was that Telemon wasn't actually one person, but multiple Roblox staff members using the same account to monitor the platform, which, if you think about it, would make sense for a company trying to moderate millions of players. But Roblox has never confirmed this, and John Shedletsky himself has addressed some of these myths in interviews, saying that while he did use the account for testing and moderation, a lot of the stories were exaggerated by the community. And here's what's really interesting about Telemon. The account represents this era of Roblox where the staff felt accessible and present in the community. Like you could actually run into a Roblox admin in a random game, and that created this sense of connection between the players and the people running the platform nowadays. With Roblox being so massive, you rarely see staff accounts just casually playing games, which makes sense given the scale, but it's something old players definitely miss about the early days, the controversial removal of ticks. Alright, this next fact is going to bring back some painful memories. For anyone who played Roblox before 2016, the removal of tickets, or ticks as everyone called them. Ticks was the secondary currency in Roblox that you could earn just by logging in daily, visiting places, and having people visit your games. It was completely free, and it gave players who couldn't afford Robux a way to still buy items, customize their avatars, and participate in the economy. And for years, ticks was a core part of the Roblox experience. You'd log in every day to collect your daily ticks. You'd create games hoping people would visit, so you'd earn more, and you'd save up for weeks or months to buy that one item you really wanted from the catalogue. But then, in April 2016, Roblox announced they were removing ticks entirely, and the community absolutely lost their minds. People were furious, posting on forums, creating protest games, wearing all black avatars as a sign of mourning. It was genuinely one of the most controversial decisions in Roblox history, and Roblox's reasoning was that ticks had created too much confusion with having two currencies, and that it was being exploited by bots and scammers who would create hundreds of accounts just to farm ticks and convert them to Robux, which was technically possible through the currency exchange system they had back then. But players argued that removing ticks made Roblox way more pay to win, because now if you wanted any kind of customization or items, you either had to buy Robux with real money or become a successful game developer, which isn't easy for most players. And looking back at it now, you can see both sides of the argument. Yes, ticks was being exploited, and managing two currencies was probably a nightmare for Roblox's economy team, but at the same time, removing it definitely made the platform less accessible for younger players or people in countries where buying Robux isn't affordable. And even today, in late 2025, almost a decade later, you still see players begging Roblox to bring back ticks, even though everyone knows it's never going to happen. The guest account era. Speaking of things Roblox removed that people miss, let's talk about guest accounts. If you played Roblox before 2017, you remember seeing players with names like Guest 123 4 walking around games unable to chat or save progress. Guest accounts were basically demo accounts that let you play Roblox without creating an actual account, which was perfect for people who just wanted to try the platform, or for younger kids whose parents were cautious about them making online accounts. But guests became this iconic part of Roblox culture. People would create jokes and memes about guests being clueless, wandering around aimlessly, not understanding game mechanics, and there were even some players who preferred playing as a guest because it gave them anonymity and freedom from their main account's reputation. But in 2017, Roblox removed the guest feature entirely. Their official reason was that it was confusing for new players, and that removing as more than just a kids game and become a legitimate platform for developers and creators. And in that context, removing guests makes sense, because serious platforms don't usually have anonymous demo accounts, but it still felt like the end of an era. And even now, you'll see players wearing guest costumes as avatars or creating games themed around the old guest accounts as a way to remember that time in Roblox history, the Dominus series and virtual item economy. Now let's get into something that shows just how insane Roblox's virtual economy has become. The Dominus series. These are extremely rare limited hats that have sold for millions of Robux, and in some cases when converted to real money, we're talking about tens of thousands of actual dollars for a virtual hat in a game. The original Dominus Empires was released back in 2010, and only a handful were ever sold, making it one of the rarest items in Roblox history. And over the years, the price has skyrocketed to over 100 million Robux, which at current conversion rates is worth over $1 million real dollars. And yes, people have actually paid this much for virtual Roblox items, which sounds absolutely insane. But when you understand how Roblox's limited item economy works, it starts to make more sense. These items are treated like investments or collectibles, similar to rare trading cards or art pieces. Their value comes from scarcity demand and the status they provide to whoever owns them, and the Dominus series isn't the only expensive item category. There are other limiteds like the Violet Valkyrie or Lord of the Federation that sell for hundreds of thousands of Robux, and there's an entire subset of the Roblox community dedicated to trading these items, trying to make profits and build wealth within the virtual economy. And what's really wild is that some people have actually made their living from Roblox trading, buying low selling high, and using the developer exchange program to convert their Robux into real money. But of course, with any economy that involves real money value, there are risks, scams, fake trade, offers, hacked accounts, and even cases of people manipulating the market to artificially inflate or crash item prices. And Roblox has had to constantly update their security and trading systems to try to prevent these exploits. But the limited item economy continues to thrive, and in 2025 it's bigger than ever, with new limiteds being released and veteran traders sitting on collections worth more than actual cars or houses. The John Doe and Jane Doe myth. Okay, so everyone who played Roblox in the early 2010s remembers the John Doe and Jane Doe myth. This was probably the biggest creepypasta in Roblox history, and it legitimately scared thousands of kids, including me back in the day. So here's the story. John Doe and Jane Doe are test accounts created by Roblox in 2005 to help with account testing. They're basically placeholder accounts with the most generic names possible. But sometime around 2011 or 2012, rumours started spreading that these accounts were haunted or controlled by hackers. People claimed that John Doe would join your game, stare at you without moving, and then hack your account or delete your items. And every year around March 18th, people would panic because that was supposedly John Doe Day, when he would come online and start hacking accounts, and the fear spread. Like wildfire, players would make their accounts private. Refused to go online on March 18th, create videos documenting supposed John Doe sightings, and the myth became so big that Roblox had to officially address it. In 2017, they released a blog post explaining It shows how powerful community storytelling can be on a platform like Roblox, because there was never any actual evidence of John Doe hacking anyone, no verified screenshots, no confirmed cases, nothing but the story spread so effectively through word of mouth, YouTube videos and forum posts that it became accepted as truth by a huge portion of the player base. And even after Roblox debunked it, some people still believe the myth, or at least enjoy pretending it's real for the nostalgia and creepy factor. And honestly, myths like John Doe are part of what made early Roblox feel special. There was this sense of mystery and danger, like anything could happen, and the platform felt less corporate and more like this wild digital frontier where weird things could exist. The Roblox Developer Exchange program. Let's talk about something that completely changed Roblox and turned it from a game into a legitimate career path for thousands of people. The Developer Exchange program, or DevEx for short. This program launched in 2013, and it allows developers who create successful games on Roblox to exchange their earned Robux for real United States dollars. And this wasn't just a small feature, this fundamentally transformed what Roblox was, because suddenly it wasn't just kids making games for fun, it was teenagers and adults building actual businesses on the platform, and the numbers are genuinely insane. Some of the top Roblox developers are making millions of dollars per year from their games. We're talking about people in their 20s who dropped out of college or quit traditional jobs to become full-time Roblox developers, and they're earning more than most people with regular careers. Games like Adopt Me, Brookhaven, Tower of Hell, these aren't just popular games, they're money printing machines generating millions in revenue through game passes, private servers and microtransactions. And Roblox takes a cut of all transactions, which is how they've grown into a multi-billion-dollar company. But even smaller developers can make decent money through DevEx if you create a game that gets a few thousand regular players and you monetize it smartly with game passes that offer cosmetic items or convenience features. You can easily make a few $100 or $1,000 per month, which for a teenager or someone in a country with a lower cost of living can be life-changing money. And Roblox has leaned into this heavily. They offer developer resources, tutorials, conferences and programs specifically to help creators improve their games and maximize their earnings, because Roblox understands that their platform only succeeds if developers succeed. It's a symbiotic relationship, but there's also criticism of how much Roblox takes from transactions. The conversion rate from Robux to dollars isn't great. You need at least 100,000 Robux to cash out through DevEx, and the rate works out to roughly $350 per 100,000 Robux, which, when you consider that Robux is purchased at a rate closer to $100 per 10,000, means Roblox is taking a significant cut. But despite this, thousands of developers continue using the platform because the audience and infrastructure Roblox provides is unmatched. You can't easily build a game from scratch and reach millions of players without spending tons of money on marketing. But on Roblox, if your game is good, it can organically reach millions through the platform's discovery systems. The controversial moderation system. Now we need to talk about something that's been a constant source of frustration for players. Roblox's moderation system and how inconsistent and sometimes absurd it can be. Roblox has always tried to position itself as a safe platform for kids, which means they have strict rules about what you can say, upload and create. But the problem is their moderation system relies heavily on automation and AI, which leads to some genuinely ridiculous situations. You'll see players getting banned for saying completely innocent things because the filter flagged a word that could potentially be inappropriate in a different context, or developers having their games taken down because an automated system detected something that wasn't actually against the rules. And meanwhile, actually inappropriate content sometimes slips through because it wasn't caught by the automated system. And there are countless stories of developers who spent months building a game only to have it deleted with little explanation, or players who got their accounts banned, and when they tried to appeal, Roblox just sent automated responses that didn't address their specific situation. And what makes this extra frustrating is that Roblox's terms of service are incredibly broad. They basically give themselves the right to delete any content or ban any account for any reason which legally protects them, but leaves users feeling powerless when they think they've been unfairly punished. And the chat filter, oh man, the chat filter is its own nightmare. It's so aggressive that sometimes you literally can't communicate basic information. Even innocent words or numbers get tagged as hashtags, making conversations impossible, especially for younger players whose accounts have even stricter filters. And the reasoning behind this strictness makes sense. Roblox wants to prevent predators from grooming kids or scammers from stealing account information. But the implementation is so heavy-handed that it frustrates legitimate players who just want to communicate normally with their friends. But here's the thing, Roblox is in an impossible position. They have hundreds of millions of users across the world with different languages, cultures, and expectations. They're constantly under pressure from parents, media, and regulators to keep kids safe. And if they're too lenient with moderation, they risk becoming a platform where harmful content spreads. But if they're too strict, which they currently are, they alienate their user base and create frustration. And in 2025, this is still an ongoing issue. Roblox has made some improvements. They've introduced more nuanced appeals processes, better communication about why content was removed, and they're constantly updating their AI systems. But it's still far from perfect, and probably always will be, given the scale they're operating at. The Bloxy Awards evolution. Let's switch to something more positive. The Bloxy Awards, which is Roblox's annual awards show celebrating the best games developers and community members. And what's fascinating about the Bloxies is how they've evolved from simple forum posts to massive virtual events that rival actual award shows. The first Bloxy Awards happened back in 2008, and it was literally just a forum thread where Roblox staff announced the winners in different categories: best game, best place, most creative, and that was it. No ceremony, no event, just a post. But over the years, as Roblox grew, the Bloxies became bigger and more elaborate. By 2015, they were hosting actual virtual award ceremonies where players could attend as audience members, watch presentations and see winners announced live on stage. And then in 2020 and 2021, during the pandemic, Roblox went all out and created absolutely massive virtual events for the Bloxies. We're talking custom-built venues, celebrity appearances, musical performances, the works. It was Roblox flexing their capabilities and showing that virtual events could be just as engaging as real ones, and millions of players attended these events, which is more than most physical award shows could ever dream of. And what's cool about the Bloxies is that they genuinely matter to the Roblox developer community. Winning a Bloxy award can give your game a huge boost in visibility and credibility. It's like winning an Oscar or Grammy, in the sense that it's recognition from your peers, and the industry and developers take it seriously. They campaign for their games, create promotional content, and genuinely get emotional when they win, and the awards categories have expanded over time. Now there are awards for Best New Experience, Best Use of Tech, Most Innovative Gameplay, and even Community Choice Awards, where players vote for their favourites. And in 2025, the Bloxies continue to be a major event in the Roblox calendar, and they serve as a reminder that Roblox isn't just a platform, it's an entire ecosystem, with its own culture, celebrities, and traditions. The rise and fall of Roblox YouTubers. Now, let's talk about the wild world of Roblox YouTube, because this is its own entire subculture, with drama, success stories, and cautionary tales. Roblox YouTube exploded in popularity around 2016 and 17, when YouTubers like Dennis Daily Flamingo, Albert It's Funny, and Tofu started gaining millions of subscribers by creating Roblox content. And what made Roblox so perfect for YouTube was that there was endless content potential. You could play different games, every video, create role plays, do challenges, showcase new items. The variety was infinite, and Roblox's younger demographic meant that these YouTubers were reaching an audience that was extremely engaged, and loyal kids would watch every single upload, leave thousands of comments, and obsessively follow their favourite creators. And some of these YouTubers became genuinely famous within the Roblox community, to the point where if they joined a public server, everyone would freak out and swarm them. And this led to Roblox implementing features like private servers and joins only for friends, because public servers were becoming unplayable for popular YouTubers. But the Roblox YouTube scene has also had its dark side. There have been numerous cases of popular YouTubers being exposed for inappropriate behaviour, scamming their young audiences, or breaking Roblox's terms of service, and because their audience is primarily children. These controversies hit especially hard. Parents would get involved, Roblox would have to ban accounts, and the community would go through these cycles of drama and fallout. And there's also been criticism of how some Roblox YouTubers exploit their young audience through aggressive sponsorships, promoting gambling mechanics in games, or encouraging kids to spend money on Robux to participate in giveaways that may or may not be legitimate. And as YouTube's algorithm and policies have changed, some of the biggest Roblox YouTubers from a few years ago have faded into obscurity, while new creators have risen to take their place. And in 2025, the Roblox YouTube scene is still thriving, but it's more competitive than ever, because there are thousands of creators all trying to stand out, and the most successful ones are the ones who genuinely love the platform, understand their audience, and create consistently entertaining content without crossing ethical lines. The layered clothing technology. Alright, let's get technical for a second and talk about one of the coolest updates Roblox has ever done. Layered clothing. This feature rolled out in phases starting in late 2021 and fully launched shirt and then tried to put a jacket over it, the jacket would just replace the shirt, not layer on top of it. But with the new layered clothing system, items actually have three-dimensional meshes that sit on top of your avatar and interact with each other realistically. So you can wear a shirt, then a jacket, then a scarf, and they all layer properly, creating actually complex and realistic looking outfit. And this wasn't just a cosmetic upgrade, it required Roblox to completely rebuild how their avatar system worked from the ground up. They had to create new cage mesh deformation technology that allowed clothing to fit properly on different avatar body types, from skinny to thick, from short to tall, and it had to work seamlessly across all devices, from phones to computers to VR headsets. And the result is that avatar customization in Roblox is now legitimately impressive. You can create avatars that look like they're from modern games, not just blocky characters, and this has opened up entirely new possibilities for roleplay, games, fashion games, and creative expression, and developers have embraced this technology, creating thousands of new layered clothing items and entire games dedicated to fashion and avatar customization. And what's interesting is that this update represents Roblox's broader evolution. They're moving away from the classic blocky aesthetic that defined them for years and embracing more realistic and detailed graphics and avatar systems, which some old school players don't love because they feel like it's losing the classic Roblox charm. But most people recognize that this evolution is necessary for Roblox to compete with other platforms and appeal to older demographics, not just young kids. The Piggy phenomenon. We need to talk about Piggy because this game is a perfect case study in how a Roblox game can explode in popularity and become a cultural phenomenon almost overnight. Piggy was created by Minitoon and released in January 2020, and within months it became one of the most played games in Roblox history, regularly hitting hundreds of thousands of concurrent players. The concept is based on Granny and Peppa Pig, which sounds weird but it works. It's basically a horror survival game where one player is Piggy the monster and the other players have to solve puzzles and escape before getting caught and killed. And what made Piggy so successful was that it hit the perfect formula. It was scary enough to be thrilling, but not so terrifying that younger kids couldn't play it. Had simple but engaging gameplay that was easy to understand but hard to master. It had a storyline with chapters that kept players coming back to see what happened next, and it had tons of customization with different characters, skins and maps, and Minitoon was smart about updates. He consistently released new chapters, new characters, and responded to community feedback, which kept the game fresh and the player base engaged. And Piggy didn't just stay within Roblox, it exploded onto YouTube, with thousands of creators making Piggy videos, theories about the lore, speedruns, challenge videos, and that YouTube exposure brought even more players to the game, creating this positive feedback loop. And at its peak in 2020 and 2021, Piggy was genuinely rivaling games like Adopt Me for concurrent players, which is insane, considering Adopt Me had been the dominant game for years. But what's also interesting about Piggy is that it spawned countless copycat games. Developers saw how successful the horror escape room formula was and created their own versions. Flee the Facility, cartoon cat Piggy but realistic, and while none of them reached Piggy's level of success, novel and sequel games, the voice chat rollout. This next topic is huge because it represents maybe the biggest change to how players interact on Roblox in the platform's entire history. Voice chat. Roblox announced they were testing voice chat in 2021, and it was immediately controversial because Roblox had always been a text-based platform with heavy chat filters designed to protect kids, and the idea of adding voice chat where those protections couldn't easily apply made a lot of parents and safety advocates nervous. But Roblox argued that voice chat was necessary for the platform to evolve, especially as they were trying to attract older users and position Roblox as a metaverse platform for all ages, not just kids. So they implemented voice chat, but with heavy restrictions. You have to be at least 13 years old, verify your age through government ID, and even then voice chat only works in experiences that have specifically enabled it. And when it first rolled out, voice chat was pretty limited. Only certain games supported it, and the verification process was complicated. But over time, more games added support, and the verification became smoother. And by 2025, voice chat is a normal part of many popular Roblox games, especially social hangout games, role plays, and competitive shooters, where communication gives you an advantage, and the impact of voice chat on Roblox culture has been significant. For one, it's made certain types of games way more immersive and social. Being able to actually talk to people in a virtual space creates connections that text chat just can't match. And for developers, voice chat has enabled new types of gameplay like proximity, chat horror, games where you can hear other players' voices getting quieter as they get farther away, or social deduction games like Among Us, where talking through theories is essential. But voice chat has also brought new problems to the platform: toxic behavior, harassment, and inappropriate conversations that the old text filters would have caught. And Roblox has had to constantly update their moderation tools to handle voice chat. They've added reporting features for voice chat harassment. They use AI to try to detect toxic behavior in real time, and they've given developers tools to moderate voice chat in their own games. But it's an ongoing challenge, and there's valid debate about whether adding voice chat was worth the risks, especially on a platform where a huge portion of users are still children under 13 who can't access it anyway. The Roblox economy and inflation. Let's dive into something that sounds boring but is actually fascinating: the Roblox economy and how it's dealt with inflation over the years. Roblox has its own functioning economy with currency supply and demand trading markets, and even inflation and deflation cycles, just like real world economies. And understanding how this works gives you insight into how sophisticated Roblox has become as a platform. So Robux is the currency, and it enters the economy in a few ways. Players buy it with real money. Roblox premium subscribers get a monthly stipend, and developers earn it when players spend money in their games. And Robux leaves the economy when players use DevX to cash out, when they buy avatar items from the catalogue, or when Roblox takes their cut from transactions. And like any economy, this system has to be carefully balanced, because if there's too much Robux in circulation relative to goods and services, you get inflation where items become more expensive, and currency becomes less valuable, and Roblox has dealt with several inflation crises over the years. Back when ticks existed, there was massive inflation because bots were farming ticks on thousands of accounts and converting into Robux, flooding the market. And this was one of the reasons Roblox cited for removing ticks. And in the limited items market, you can see inflation happening in real time. Rare items that sold for 10,000 Robux 5 years ago now sell for millions because there are more Robux in the economy. And wealthy traders keep driving prices up. And Roblox has tried various solutions to manage their economy. They take a 30% cut from all Robux transactions, which acts as a Robux sink, removing currency from circulation. They've made it harder to transfer Robux between accounts to prevent money laundering, and they've adjusted the DevX rate over time to control how much Robux gets converted to real money. And what's really interesting is that Roblox has economists on staff, actual PhDs, who study virtual economies, and their job is to monitor Roblox's economic data and make recommendations to keep things stable and healthy. And this matters, because if the economy breaks, if inflation spirals out of control, or if there's not enough Robux in circulation, it could destroy player trust and drive people away from the platform. So even though most players don't think about it, the fact that you can buy a shirt for 50 Robux or sell a limited item for 1,000,000 Robux is the result of careful economic management behind the scenes. The metaverse strategy. Now let's talk about Roblox's big pivot in recent years, positioning themselves not as a game but as a metaverse platform. And this isn't just marketing speak, it represents a fundamental shift in how Roblox sees itself and its future. The term metaverse refers to persistent shared virtual spaces where people can work, play, socialise and exist in ways that mirror or extend real life. And Roblox has been pushing this vision hard, especially since their IPO in 2021. They've hosted virtual concerts with artists like Lil Nas X. They've partnered with brands like Gucci, Nike and the NFL to create virtual experiences and storefronts. They've added features like spatial voice chat and realistic avatars that make virtual interactions feel more lifelike. And they've encouraged developers to create not just games but experiences, entire virtual worlds where people can hang out, attend events and build communities. And the bet Roblox is making is that the future of the internet is going to be more spatial and immersive, less about looking at flat websites and more about existing in three-dimensional virtual spaces. And they want Roblox to be the platform where this happens, especially for younger generations who are growing up with virtual worlds feeling as natural as physical ones. But there's also skepticism about whether the metaverse is actually going to happen in the way tech companies envision, or if it's just hype, because so far most metaverse experiences are still pretty limited. They're fun for a while, but they don't replace real life interactions or traditional internet activities. And there are big questions about whether people actually want to spend hours in virtual worlds or if it's just a novelty. And Roblox's challenge is to prove that their platform can offer something genuinely valuable, not just games but spaces where people want to spend time, build identities and form meaningful connections. And they're making create and trade virtual pets. And it sounds simple, but the trading economy that's emerged around it is absolutely insane. There are pets that are worth thousands of real dollars because of their rarity and demand, and there's an entire culture of trading strategies, value guides, and even scamming that's developed around the game. And what makes Adopt Me's economy so interesting is that it's almost entirely player driven. The developers don't set prices. Players do through supply and demand. When a new pet is released, everyone wants it, so its value is high. But as more enter circulation, the value drops unless it's discontinued, in which case it becomes limited and its value skyrockets. And players have developed incredibly sophisticated trading systems. They use tier lists that rank pets by value. They negotiate multi-pet trades to balance values, and they've even created their own currency standards, like using neon legendary pets as a baseline for expensive trades. And there are Adopt Me trading servers, YouTube channels dedicated to trading guides, and entire communities focused on helping people not get scammed, because scamming is rampant. People will try to swap pets at the last second, offer fake trust trades, or pressure younger players into unfair deals, and the developers have tried to combat this with trade warnings, confirmation screens, and reporting tools. But scammers always find new methods, and what's wild is that some people treat Adopt Me trading like a job. They'll spend hours per day trading, grinding for pets, and building wealth within the game. And because pets can be sold for Robux, which can be converted to real money through third-party sites, though this violates Roblox's terms of service, some people have actually made significant money from Adopt Me trading, and this has created ethical questions about whether it's right that a game played primarily by children has an economy where some people are essentially running businesses and where kids can be pressured into making decisions that have real financial implications. But regardless of these concerns, Adopt Me remains massively popular in late 2025 with millions of daily players and a thriving economy that shows no signs of slowing down. The controversial UGC program. Let's talk about the User-Generated Content Program, or UGC, which has been both celebrated and criticised since it launched. The UGC program allows approved creators to design and sell their own avatar items in the Roblox catalogue, which before was only possible for Roblox staff to do. And this was huge because it opened up avatar customization to community creativity and gave creators another way to make money on the platform. And when UGC first launched in 2019, it was invite only, with Roblox handpicking experienced creators, and the quality was generally really high, and the original UGC creators became celebrities in the community, some making tens of thousands of dollars from their items. But then in 2021 and 2022, Roblox started expanding the program, accepting more creators, and eventually opening it to basically anyone who applied. And that's when problems started appearing. The catalogue became flooded with low-quality items, stolen designs, and blatant copies of popular items. And because Roblox's moderation couldn't keep up with the volume of UGC uploads, tons of items that violated copyright or Roblox's own guidelines made it through. And there were cases of creators having their original designs copied by others who would sell them cheaper. And Roblox's response was often slow, leaving the original creators frustrated. And there's also been controversy about limiteds within the UGC program, resell them at inflated prices, essentially manipulating the market. And Roblox has tried to address these issues. They've added better verification for UGC creators, implemented takedown systems for stolen items, and created separate sections in the catalogue for UGC versus official items. But it's an ongoing problem, and in late 2025, the UGC program is kind of a mixed bag. On one hand, it's given talented creators opportunities to make money, and has vastly increased the variety of avatar items available. But on the other hand, it's made the catalogue harder to navigate, lowered the average quality of items, and created new avenues for scams and copyright violations. And finding the right balance between openness and quality control continues to be a challenge for Roblox, the educational games movement. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough, but is actually really cool: the rise of educational games on Roblox, and how teachers and educators are using the platform as a teaching tool. While most people think of Roblox as just entertainment, there's been a growing movement of developers creating games specifically designed to teach subjects like math, science, history, and coding. And some of these games are legitimately good. They make learning engaging by turning it into gameplay challenges, cooperative missions, and competitive quizzes. And what's smart about this approach is that kids who might tune out in a traditional classroom are willing to spend hours playing a Roblox game. And if that game is teaching them something valuable, that's a win. And Roblox themselves have encouraged this through their education initiative. They've created resources for teachers, developed curriculum around game design and coding using Roblox Studio, and partnered with schools to bring Roblox into classrooms. And during the pandemic, when schools went remote, some teachers actually used Roblox as a virtual classroom. They create private servers, host lessons as in game activities, and use it as a way to keep students engaged when Zoom fatigue was setting in. And there are now games on Roblox that teach coding concepts through puzzles, games that recreate historical events. So students can explore them virtually, games that teach financial literacy through running virtual businesses, and even games that teach social, emotional skills through role-playing scenarios. And what makes this really powerful is that students don't feel like they're being taught, they feel like they're playing, and that intrinsic motivation makes learning more effective. And there's research backing this up. Studies on game-based learning show that when done well, it can improve retention, engagement, and understanding compared to traditional methods. But of course, not all educational games on Roblox are good. Some D-Continue are basically just worksheets disguised as games with minimal actual gameplay, and those don't work because kids see right through it. But when developers understand both game design and pedagogy, the results can be impressive. And as we move further into 2025 and beyond, expect to see more schools and educators experimenting with Roblox as an educational platform, especially as virtual and hybrid learning becomes more common, the concert and virtual events era. Let's talk about how Roblox has become a legitimate venue for concerts and major virtual events, because this is genuinely revolutionary. The first major virtual concert on Roblox was Lil Nas X in November 2020, and it was massive. Over 33 million people attended across multiple showings, which is more than any physical concert could ever accommodate. And this wasn't just a static performance. The concert was fully interactive with the environment, Nike created Nikeland, where players could play sports games and customize their avatars with Nike gear. The NFL created NFL Tycoon, and even movies and TV shows started creating Roblox experiences as promotional tie-ins. And what's interesting about these brand activations is that they're not just ads, they're actual experiences that players want to engage with because they're fun or offer exclusive items, and this represents a new model for marketing, especially to Gen Z and Gen Alpha who don't respond to traditional advertising, but will happily spend hours in a branded Roblox experience if it's entertaining. And Roblox benefits because these partnerships bring attention, prestige, and often financial investment into the platform, and they help position Roblox as more than a game, as a legitimate space for culture and community. And looking ahead, concerts and events are only going to get bigger and more sophisticated as the technology improves. Imagine concerts with full motion capture where artists perform live and their movements are translated to their Roblox avatar in real time, or events that blend physical and virtual where you can attend in person or join in Roblox and have both experiences feel equally valid. This is the future Roblox is building toward, and they're further along than any other platform right now. The horror game boom, we need to explore why horror games have absolutely exploded on Roblox and become one of the most popular genres on the platform. Because if you look at the front page at any given time, you'll see multiple horror games with tens of thousands of players, and this seems counterintuitive since Roblox's audience skews young, but it actually makes perfect sense. Horror games on Roblox offer a safe way to experience fear. The blocky graphics and the knowledge that it's just a game make the scares manageable, even for younger players who would be traumatized by actual horror movies or games. And there's something social about being scared together when you're playing a horror game with friends over voice chat or even just with random players. There's this shared experience of tension and relief that's really engaging, and horror games on Roblox have evolved significantly from early simple games like The Rake or Slender Man to sophisticated experiences like Doors, The Mimic and Apirophobia that have actual storylines, environmental storytelling and clever game design. And what makes Roblox perfect for horror is that the platform's limitations actually help with atmosphere. The slightly janky movement, the draw distance that creates fog, the simple graphics that let your imagination fill in details, all of this creates tension in a way that realistic graphics sometimes can't. And developers have gotten really creative with Roblox's tools, using lighting, sound design, and scripting to create genuinely scary moments, and the success of horror games has created its own ecosystem. YouTubers making horror game content, which brings more players, which encourages more developers to make horror games, and some horror games have become cultural phenomena within Roblox, like Doors, which became one of the most played games in 2022 and created its own mythology, fan art and community. And the appeal isn't just jump scares. Many of these games have puzzle-solving elements that require you to think and explore, which adds depth beyond just running and hiding. And as Roblox's tools improve, horror games are getting more sophisticated with better graphics, more complex AI for monsters, and more immersive sound design, and it's likely that horror will continue to be one of the dominant genres on the platform system and the constant battle against scammers, because this affects millions of players. Trading on Roblox allows players to exchange limited items with each other, and it's a core part of the collector economy. But it's also one of the most scam-prone features on the platform, and Roblox has implemented numerous security measures over the years to try to protect users, but scammers constantly adapt and find new methods. So let's break down how trading works and how scams happen. First, you can only trade limited items, which are special items that were sold in limited quantities. Regular catalogue items can't be traded, and when you initiate a trade, both players put up items and Robux, and both have to confirm before the trade goes through. Sounds simple, but this is where scams come in. One common scam is the bait and switch, where a scammer shows you a valuable item in the trade window, then at the last second swaps it for a similar looking but worthless item, hoping you don't notice before confirming. Another is the trust trade scam, where someone asks you to give them an item temporarily, promising they'll give it back or give you something better, but obviously once you give it to them they just leave. Another is fake website scams, where scammers create sites that look like Roblox and trick you into entering your password, which they then use to steal your account and all your items. And there are even more elaborate scams involving fake middlemen, poison trades, where someone offers you way more than your item is worth, but the items they're giving you are actually worthless, and you didn't realise. Compromised accounts, where hackers use stolen accounts to trade items off before the real owner realises. And Roblox has tried to combat this with trade holds, where trades don't finalise, immediately giving you time to cancel if you realise it was a mistake. Two-factor authentication that prevents account compromises. Warnings that pop up before you confirm. Trade value indicators that show if a trade is potentially unfair, and the ability to report scammers. But despite all this, scams still happen constantly, especially to younger or inexperienced players, and the community has developed its own protection methods. Trading guides, value lists that everyone refers to trusted trading, Discord servers, and a general culture of extreme caution, where you verify everything multiple times before confirming. And honestly, the best protection is education. Understanding how scams work makes you much less likely to fall for them. And if you're active in the trading community, staying informed about new scam methods is essential. And as we're in late 2025, trading is still a major part of Roblox, but the security arms race between Roblox and scammers continues with no end in sight. The mobile gaming revolution. Let's talk about something that completely changed Roblox's trajectory. The expansion to mobile devices, which turned Roblox from a PC-focused platform into a truly cross-platform phenomenon. Roblox launched on iOS in 2012 and Android in 2014, and this was massive because suddenly millions of people who didn't have gaming PCs could play Roblox on their phones and tablets, and mobile quickly became the dominant platform for Roblox users, especially among younger players who might not have their own computer but do have access to a family iPad or their parents' phone. And this mobile expansion fundamentally changed what kinds of games succeeded on Roblox, because developers had to design for touch controls, smaller screens, and less powerful hardware, and games that were too complex or required precise keyboard and mouse input struggled mobile, while games with simple intuitive touch controls thrived, and this is partly why simulator games and tycoons became so popular. They're perfect for mobile. You can tap to collect resources, upgrade things and progress without needing complex controls, and the mobile audience also tends to prefer shorter play sessions. You can't sit and play for hours on your phone the way you might on a PC, so games that let you make meaningful progress in 10 or 15 minutes do really well, and Roblox has continuously optimized their mobile experience, improving performance, adding better touch controls, making the UI more mobile friendly, and by 2025 the mobile version of Roblox is nearly as feature complete as the PC version. You can do almost everything except develop games, which still requires Roblox Studio on PC, and the business impact of mobile can't be overstated. A huge percentage of Roblox's revenue comes from mobile in-app purchases, and mobile has been key to Roblox's growth in international markets, especially in countries where smartphones are more common than PCs, and the cross-platform nature is actually really impressive. You can start playing on your phone during a commute, then continue on your PC when you get home, and your progress syncs automatically, and this seamlessness is part of what makes Roblox feel like a cohesive platform rather than just a collection of games. The rise of roleplay games. Now let's explore roleplay games, which have consistently been some of the most popular experiences on Roblox and represent a huge part of the platform's appeal. Roleplay games are virtual spaces where players create characters and act out scenarios, whether that's running a restaurant, raising a family living in a house, or working different jobs. And what makes roleplay games so successful on Roblox is that they offer creative freedom and social interaction in ways that structured games don't. You're not trying to win or complete objectives. You're just existing in a virtual space and creating your own stories. And this appeals especially to younger players who love imaginative play, and for whom Roblox roleplay games are basically digital versions of Playing House or pretend games. And some of the biggest games on Roblox are Roleplays. Brookhaven has regularly been the number one most played game with hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, and it's literally just a town where you can own a house, drive cars and roleplay whatever scenarios you want. There's no objective, no win condition, just a sandbox for social interaction. And similarly, Welcome to Bloxburg, which is a paid access game, has been incredibly successful for years because it offers a detailed life simulation where you can build houses, work jobs and roleplay daily life. And what these games provide is a sense of control and creativity that's really appealing, especially to younger players who have limited control in their real lives. But in a role-play game, they can design their dream house, be whoever they want, and create their own narratives. And the social aspect is huge. Too many friendships form in role-play games. People meet in Brookhaven, start role-playing together, and then become actual friends who play together regularly. And for some players, role-play games are their main social space, the place where they hang out with friends after school instead of texting or using other social media. And developers of roleplay games have gotten really good at understanding what players want. They add new locations, vehicles, customization options, and regular updates to keep the experience fresh. And they create spaces that are versatile enough to support different types of roleplay, whether you want to run a business, have a family scratch the surface because Roblox is this massive, constantly evolving platform with millions of stories, experiences and communities. And that's what makes it so fascinating. It's not just a game, it's an entire digital universe where anything is possible, where a teenager can become a millionaire game developer, where millions of people can attend a concert together, where friendships form, and where creativity is the only limit. And whether you've been playing since 2006 or just discovered Roblox yesterday, there's always something new to explore, some crazy game. You haven't tried some community, you haven't found some feature you didn't know existed, and that's why Roblox has lasted this long, and why it'll probably be around for decades to come, because it's not just about any one game or trend. It's about giving people tools to create, connect, and express themselves. And as long as that core mission stays the same, Roblox will keep evolving and surprising us. So thank you all so much for watching. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Seriously, drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I've got tons more Roblox content coming. And don't forget to comment where you're watching from. I genuinely love reading your comments and seeing this global community. And maybe drop what your favourite Roblox memory is, or what game you're obsessed with right now. I'd love to hear your stories, alright? That's it from me. I'll catch you all in the next video. Stay awesome, keep playing, and I'll see you soon. Peace. Just continue with the facts, no matter what. The death of Builders Club and birth of Premium. So, Roblox completely overhauled their subscription system in 2019 when they replaced the old Builders Club tiers with Roblox Premium, and this was actually a pretty controversial change because Builders Club had been around since 2007 and was deeply embedded in Roblox culture. There were 3 tiers: Classic Builders Club, Turbo Builders Club, and Outrageous Builders Club, and each gave you different amounts of daily Robux plus the ability to create and join more groups, trade items, and sell your creations. And having that BC badge next to your name was a status symbol. It showed you were a serious player who invested in the platform. But Roblox decided to simplify everything into a single premium subscription with 3 price tiers. And the main difference was, instead of getting daily Robux, you now got a monthly lump sum, which some people liked because you got your Robux all at once, but others missed the daily login routine. And the other major change was that Premium gave you a Robux stipend, but also gave you a percentage bonus when buying additional Robux, which incentivized spending more. And Premium members also got access to premium only items and benefits in certain games, and developers could create premium payouts where premium members playing their game would generate extra revenue. And the backlash to this change was significant. Old Builders Club members felt like they were losing part of Roblox's identity, and some of the benefits didn't carry over exactly the same way. But Roblox pushed forward with the rebrand because they felt Premium was more modern and aligned better with their vision of Roblox as a platform, not just a game. And by 2025, Premium is just the standard, and most players don't even remember Builders Club existed. But for veterans, it represents another piece of classic Roblox culture that's been left behind in the name of modernization and corporate growth. The exploit and hacking underground. Let's talk about something Roblox doesn't want anyone discussing, but it's a real issue: the underground world of exploits, hacks, and how they've plagued the platform since the beginning. Exploiting refers to using third-party programs to manipulate Roblox games, giving yourself advantages like flying through walls, speed hacking, spawning items, auto-farming, and basically breaking the intended gameplay. And despite Roblox's constant security updates and anti-cheat systems, exploiting has never fully gone away. There's always been a cat and mouse game between Roblox's security team and exploit developers, and the exploit community is surprisingly sophisticated. There are paid exploit programs that get updated regularly to bypass Roblox's latest security measures. There are forums and Discord servers where exploiters share scripts and methods, and some people have built entire businesses around creating and selling exploits, and the impact on regular players is frustrating. You'll be playing a competitive game, and someone will be blatantly cheating, flying around the map with impossible speed or accuracy, and even though you can report them, the ban process isn't instant, so they can ruin games for hours or days before getting caught. And some exploits are more insidious, like auto-clickers or macros that farm resources in simulator games while you're away from your computer, which gives exploiters unfair advantages in games with economies or leaderboards. And then there are the really serious exploits that can crash servers, steal limited items from trading, or even compromised accounts. And Roblox has invested heavily in fighting this. They've completely rewritten their client-server architecture multiple times. They've implemented machine learning detection systems that can identify suspicious behavior patterns. They've taken legal action against major exploit developers, and they've added features like two-step verification to prevent account compromises. But despite all this, exploits persist because there's financial incentive for the people creating them. They sell their exploit programs for monthly subscriptions, making real money, and as long as that incentive exists, people will keep trying to break Roblox's security. And for legitimate developers, this is incredibly frustrating. You spend months building a game only to have exploiters ruin the experience for your players, and you have to constantly update your anti-exploit measures instead of focusing on actual game development. And the community response has been mixed. Some players see exploiting as victimless fun, just messing around in games, but others recognise it ruins the experience for everyone and destroys the integrity of competitive games and economies. And as of late 2025, the battle continues with Roblox's security getting stronger, but exploiters always finding new vulnerabilities. The controversial IP and copyright issues. Now, we need to address something that's been a constant source of legal headaches for Roblox: copyright and intellectual property violations, because the platform is absolutely flooded with games, items and audio that use copyrighted material without permission. And Roblox has struggled to balance creative freedom with legal compliance for years. The most obvious examples are games that are straight up copies of other games. You'll find dozens of Roblox versions of Among Us, Fall Guys, Squid Game, Fortnite, and basically any popular game or show. And technically these are copyright violations because they're using another company's intellectual property, characters, gameplay, mechanics and branding without permission. But Roblox has historically been lenient about unless the original copyright holder files a complaint. And that's because many of these games are made by young developers who are just creating fan games or tributes and aren't making significant money. But when a Roblox game does make serious money from someone else's IP, that's when legal issues arise. And there have been multiple cases of major companies sending cease and desist letters to Roblox, forcing them to take down games. Nintendo is notorious for this, going after any Roblox game that uses Pokemon or Mario, and the music industry has also cracked down hard on Roblox because for years users could upload any audio file to Roblox and use it in their games, which meant people were uploading copyrighted songs and sound effects by the millions. And in 2022, Roblox completely overhauled their audio system, requiring verification to upload audio and removing many copyrighted sounds, which broke thousands of games overnight. And this caused a massive controversy because developers who had built games around certain songs or sounds suddenly had silent games and had to scramble to replace everything. And Roblox implemented the Creative Music program, where developers could license official songs and compensate artists, but the selection was limited, and many developers felt betrayed by the sudden change. And then there's the issue of copied avatar items, where people steal designs from other creators or use copyrighted characters like Mickey Mouse or anime characters on shirts and accessories. And Roblox's moderation is supposed to catch this, but with millions of items being uploaded, the system is overwhelmed and plenty of infringing content slips through, and all of this puts Roblox in a difficult legal position because technically they're liable for the copyright violations happening on their platform. Under the DMCA, they have to respond to takedown requests, but if they're seen as not doing enough to prevent infringement, they could face major lawsuits. And as Roblox has grown and become a publicly traded company, they've had to take IP issues more seriously because the legal and financial risks are too high, and this has created tension with the community because stricter enforcement means less creative freedom and more games and items being taken down. But Roblox doesn't really have a choice if they want to protect themselves legally and maintain relationships with major brands and IP holders. The simulation game domination. Let's dive into why simulator games have absolutely dominated Roblox for years and continue to be some of the most played experiences on the platform. Simulator games are basically idle games where you perform a simple action to collect resources, which you use to upgrade your abilities so you can collect resources faster in an endless progression loop. And on the surface they sound boring and repetitive, but they're perfectly designed to be addictive and engaging, especially for younger players. The core loop is incredibly satisfying. You click or tap to mine, swing, collect whatever, and you immediately see numbers going up, your stats increasing, your pets getting stronger, and that instant feedback and visible progress hits the same reward centers in your brain as slot machines or loot boxes. And simulator games are perfect for mobile because they don't require complex controls, just tapping, and they're designed for both active play where you're grinding manually and idle play where you leave the game running and it auto collects for you. And the progression is essentially infinite. There's always a new area to unlock, a new pet to collect, a new upgrade to purchase, so you never really finish. And games like Pet Simulator X, Clicking Simulator, Mining Simulator. These games have billions of plays and tens of thousands of concurrent players daily, and they're incredibly profitable because their monetization is aggressive. You can buy game passes for auto-clickers, faster progression, better pets, and the games use every psychological trick to encourage spending limited time events, exclusive pets that create a FOMO, fear of missing out, loot boxes with rare drops, leaderboards that create competition, and developers have perfected this formula to the point where top simulator games make millions of dollars in revenue. And from a development perspective, simulators are relatively easy to create compared to complex, story-driven games or competitive shooters. You need a simple core mechanic, a progression system, some pets or tools for variety and decent UI, and you can iterate and add content quickly, which is why there are hundreds of simulator games on Roblox. But the criticism of simulator games is valid. They're often seen as low-effort cash grabs designed to extract money from kids through manipulative monetization, and they've homogenized a significant portion of Roblox's front page because they're so commercially successful that developers keep cloning the formula, and some argue that simulator games represent the worst aspects of modern gaming, prioritizing addiction and spending over actual fun or creativity. But defenders would say that simulator games provide relaxing, low-stress entertainment and that the progression systems are genuinely satisfying. And ultimately, players vote with their time and money, and the fact that simulator games consistently dominate the most played list shows that regardless of what critics think, millions of players genuinely enjoy them, and as long as that's true, simulator games will continue to be a massive part of Roblox's ecosystem. The failed Roblox Toys partnership. Here's something interesting that didn't quite work out the way Roblox hoped. Their partnership with toy manufacturers to create physical Roblox toys. Starting in 2017, Roblox partnered with companies like Jazzwares to produce physical toys based on Roblox characters and games, and the toys came with codes that unlocked exclusive virtual items in Roblox, which was supposed to bridge physical and digital play, and initially this seemed like a brilliant idea. The toys sold reasonably well at retailers like Walmart, Target and GameStop, and they introduced Roblox to parents and kids who might not have discovered it otherwise, and the exclusive virtual items created demand because collectors wanted to complete sets and get rare items, and Roblox expanded the toy line with blind boxes, collectible figures, play sets and even plushies. And for a few years this was a significant part of Roblox's merchandising strategy. But the toy line faced several problems. First, the toys themselves were honestly not great quality. They were cheap plastic figures with limited articulation, and they didn't really capture what made Roblox fun, which is the digital interactivity and customization. Second, the virtual item codes became a target for scammers. People would open toy packages in stores, steal the codes, and leave the toys, making it risky to buy toys from physical retailers. Third, the blind box model, where you don't know which figure you're getting, as of 2025, but it's a fraction of what it was at its peak, and it represents a lesson that not every successful digital platform can translate to successful physical products, especially when the core appeal is the digital creativity and social interaction that can't be captured in a plastic figure. The evolution of Roblox Studio. We need to talk about Roblox Studio because this is the engine that powers everything on Roblox, and it's evolved dramatically over the years. Roblox Studio is the free development tool that anyone can download to create Roblox games, and it's surprisingly powerful, especially considering it's free and accessible to beginners. And in the early days of Roblox Studio was pretty basic. You could place blocks, terrain, and basic objects, script, simple behaviors, and that was about it. But over the years, Roblox has continuously upgraded Studio, adding features that rival professional game engines, and modern Roblox Studio has advanced lighting systems with realistic shadows and global illumination, sophisticated physics systems, terrain tools that let you sculpt realistic landscapes, animation editors, particle systems for effects like fire smoke and magic, advanced scripting with a Lua programming language that gives you almost unlimited control, and even collaboration features that let multiple developers work on the same game simultaneously. And what's really impressive is that Roblox Studio is designed to be approachable for beginners, but powerful enough for professionals. You can start by dragging and dropping pre-made models and gradually learn scripting and advanced techniques. And Roblox provides extensive documentation, tutorials, and a developer forum where people help each other. And this has created a pathway for young people to learn actual game development skills. Lua programming is a real programming language used in professional games, and many developers who started making Roblox games as kids have gone on to careers in game development or software engineering. And Roblox has invested heavily in improving Studio because they understand that the quality of experiences on their platform depends on giving developers good tools, and they've added features specifically requested by the developer community, better debugging tools, performance analyzers, version control integration, and the Team Create feature that enables remote collaboration. And as of 2025, Roblox Studio is legitimately comparable to engines like Unity or Unreal for certain types of games. Obviously, it's not as powerful for ultra-realistic graphics or massive open worlds, but for the kinds of experiences that work well on Roblox multiplayer games, social hangouts, minigame collections, Roblox Studio provides everything you need, and the fact that it's completely free with no licensing fees or royalties until you make significant money is remarkable. And this accessibility is a huge part of why Roblox has such a massive and diverse library of games, because the barrier to entry for creating is so low. The Roblox Developer Conference Evolution. Let's talk about RDC, the Roblox Developer Conference, which has become one of the most important events in the Roblox calendar for creators. RDC started as a small gathering of top developers in 2011, just a few dozen people meeting to share ideas and hear about upcoming Roblox features. But as Roblox grew, RDC evolved into a major event with hundreds of attendees held at convention centres with keynote presentations, panels, workshops and networking opportunities. And what hardships that shape the platform, and Roblox uses RDC to showcase success stories, developers who've made millions from their games, or built studios with dozens of employees, and this serves as inspiration and proof that Roblox development can be a legitimate career. And in 2019 and 2020, RDC went virtual due to the pandemic, which democratized access. Suddenly, thousands of developers could attend virtually and watch presentations, and this was both good and bad. Good, because more people could participate, but it lost some of the exclusive prestige and networking opportunities of the physical event. And as of 2025, RDC has returned to being a hybrid event with both in-person and virtual components, and Roblox has expanded it internationally with regional developer events, and the content from RDC keynotes and panels gets shared publicly, so even developers who can't attend can learn about new features and best practices. And what's interesting is how RDC reflects Roblox's evolution. Early RDCs focused on basic game design and building, but modern RDCs discuss topics like monetization strategies, user acquisition, analytics, live operations, building, development teams, and these are professional game industry topics, showing how Roblox development has matured from hobby to business. The oof sound controversy. Alright, this is a weird one, but it became a huge deal, the removal and return of the iconic oof death sound. For years, whenever your character died in Roblox, you'd hear this distinctive oof sound, and it became absolutely synonymous with Roblox. It was memed, constantly referenced in videos, and was just part of the platform's identity. But in 2022, Roblox suddenly removed the oof sound and replaced it with a generic thud, and the community went ballistic. People were genuinely upset because this tiny sound effect had become such an integral part of the Roblox experience, and the reason for the removal was copyright issues. It turned out the oof sound was actually created by composer Tommy Tallarico for a game called Messiah in 2000, and Roblox had been using it without proper licensing for over a decade, and when Tallarico discovered it, he worked out a deal with Roblox, but it involved removing the original sound, and Roblox tried to make the best of it by introducing a marketplace where developers could choose from different death sounds, and they even made the classic oof available for purchase, where proceeds would go to Tallarico. But players hated this because now the consistent experience of hearing oof when you died was gone. Different games had different death sounds, and it felt wrong, and this became a perfect example of how even tiny details matter to community identity and culture. And eventually Roblox and Tallarico worked out a better arrangement, and the oof sound was made more widely available again, though not as the universal default it once was. And this whole controversy might seem silly to outsiders, but it mattered to the Roblox community, because these little quirks and consistent experiences are what make a platform feel like home, and when they're suddenly changed, even for legitimate legal reasons, it feels like something has been lost. And the oof sound saga is a reminder that Roblox doesn't exist in a vacuum. They have to deal with real world issues like copyright and licensing, even for tiny sound effects that last half of a second. The rise of Roblox content creators outside YouTube. While we talked about YouTube earlier, let's discuss how Roblox content creation has expanded to other platforms, especially TikTok and Twitch, because this has changed the landscape significantly. TikTok especially has become doing roleplay scenarios, or just making comedy content using Roblox as the medium. And what's interesting is that TikTok Roblox content often reaches people who don't even play Roblox. It's entertainment in its own right. And this has actually driven new players to the platform. People see a funny TikTok about a Roblox game and decide to try it. And some TikTok creators have become as influential as YouTubers in the Roblox space, with millions of followers and the ability to make a game blow up just by featuring it. And then there's Twitch, where Roblox has become a legitimate streaming category. Streamers play Roblox for hours, building audiences and making money through subscriptions, donations and sponsorships. And Roblox streaming is interesting because it's highly interactive. Viewers can join the same game as the streamer and play alongside them, which creates a unique connection that isn't possible with most games. And some streamers have built entire careers around Roblox variety, trying different games every stream, or specialising in specific genres like horror games or tycoons. And the cross-platform nature of Roblox content is really powerful. A streamer plays a game on Twitch, someone clips a funny moment and posts it on TikTok, which gets shared to YouTube Shorts, and suddenly that game is everywhere. And developer-savvy ones actively work with content creators, sending them early access, providing exclusive items to give away, and creating content that's designed to be clipped and shared. And as of 2025, the Roblox creator economy spans multiple platforms, and the most successful creators have diversified presence: YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Discord, building audiences everywhere, and using each platform's strengths. And this multi-platform approach is the new normal for content creation, and Roblox benefits because every piece of content on any platform is essentially free marketing, bringing more attention and players to Roblox. The introduction of facial animation. Let's talk about one of the coolest technical features. Roblox has added dynamic facial animation that responds to voice and emotion. This feature rolled out in stages starting in 2022, and it uses your device's camera to track your facial expressions and translate them to your Roblox avatar in real time. So if you smile, your avatar smiles. If you raise your eyebrows, your avatar does too. And when combined with voice chat, this creates surprisingly expressive and lifelike interactions. And what makes this impressive is that it works across different avatar styles, from realistic to cartoony, and it's processing everything locally on your device for privacy. And Roblox had to build sophisticated facial recognition and animation systems that work on everything from high-end PCs to mobile phones. And the impact on social experiences has been significant in games that support facial animation. Conversations feel more natural and engaging because you can see emotional reactions, not just hear voices. And this is especially powerful in roleplay games, performances, or just hanging out with friends. And it represents Roblox's push toward more immersive social presence, making virtual interactions feel closer to real life. And of course, there are privacy considerations. Roblox is very clear that facial data doesn't leave your device and isn't stored, but any feature that uses your camera raises questions, and parents and players have to trust that the privacy protections work as promised. And not everyone is comfortable turning on their camera, even if the data stays local, but for those who do use it, facial animation adds a dimension to Roblox that wasn't possible before, and combined with voice chat and realistic avatars, Roblox experiences can feel genuine specific attention to Brookhaven RP, because this game has been the most played experience on Roblox for years, and understanding why reveals a lot about what players want. Brookhaven launched in September 2020, created by Wolfpack and Aidenly Wolf, and within months it exploded to become the dominant roleplay game on the platform, regularly reaching 300,000 to 500,000 concurrent players and billions of total visits. And what's wild is that Brookhaven doesn't have a goal or gameplay loop in the traditional sense. It's just a town with houses, vehicles, and various locations, and you can do whatever you want. Own a house, customize it, adopt babies, roleplay, families, drive cars, work jobs, or just hang out. And the freedom and simplicity are exactly why it succeeded, because unlike games with complex mechanics or requirements, Brookhaven is immediately accessible to anyone regardless of age or gaming experience. You spawn in, and within seconds you understand what to do. Explore, claim a house, and start role-playing, and the game is constantly updated with new houses, vehicles, seasonal events, and features, keeping it fresh. And Wolfpack and Aidenly Wolf have been incredibly responsive to the community, adding features, players' request, and maintaining the game's stability despite the massive player counts. And what's also smart is that Brookhaven's monetization is reasonable. There are premium houses and vehicles, but the core experience is completely free, and you can have fun without spending any Robux. And this accessibility has made it appealing to a wide demographic, from young kids just exploring to teenagers creating elaborate roleplay scenarios. And the social aspect is crucial. Brookhaven is where friend groups hang out. It's become a default meeting place, like a virtual mall or park, and the game has spawned its own culture. Certain houses are considered status symbols. There are unwritten rules about roleplay etiquette, and players have created traditions and inside jokes, and Brookhaven's success has influenced the entire Roblox ecosystem, showing that simple, accessible social experiences can outperform complex games and inspiring countless imitators, and the game's longevity is impressive. Too many Roblox games peak for a few months, then decline, but Brookhaven has maintained top positions for years, showing that when you create a space people genuinely enjoy spending time in, they'll keep coming back. And as of late 2025, Brookhaven shows no signs of slowing down, and it's cemented itself as one of the most culturally significant games in Roblox history. The collaboration tools revolution. Let's explore how Roblox Studios collaboration features have transformed game development on the platform, because this enabled the rise of professional development teams. Because in the early days of Roblox, every game was basically made by one person or maybe a small group of friends sharing accounts, which was messy and limiting. But as games became more complex, requiring programmers, builders, artists, and UI designers, working solo became impractical, and Roblox introduced Team Create, which allows multiple developers to work on the same game simultaneously in real time. You can see other developers' cursors moving around the workspace. You can communicate through chat, and everyone's changes save automatically. And this was revolutionary, because suddenly Roblox development could work like professional game studios, with specialized roles and collaborative workflows. And this led to the formation of development groups, where teams of 5, 10, or even 50 people work together on major projects, with project managers, program sound designers and testers, and some of these groups operate like actual companies with hierarchies, contracts, payment structures, and professional standards. And the quality of games improved dramatically when teams could collaborate effectively, because you had specialists focusing on what they do best, instead of one person trying to do everything. And Roblox added more professional tools like version control, so you could save different versions of your game and revert if something broke, and the ability to publish updates without taking games offline, and asset managers for organizing thousands of models, scripts and sounds. And these might seem like basic features, but they're essential for professional development. And Roblox has also created programs to support team development, like the Accelerator program, which provides funding, mentorship and resources to promising development teams, helping them scale up and become sustainable businesses. And the Developer Forum, where teams can recruit talent, share knowledge and get help with technical problems. And by 2025, there are development studios that exist solely to create Roblox games, employing dozens of people full-time, with office spaces, salaries, benefits, the whole deal. And these aren't hobbyists. These are professional game developers who've chosen Roblox as their platform, and this professionalization has raised the bar for quality on Roblox, but it's also created challenges for solo developers or small teams who are now competing against well-funded studios. And there's ongoing tension between maintaining Roblox as an accessible platform where anyone can create, and the reality that the most successful games now require professional level resources to compete the sound and music ecosystem. We touched on audio earlier, but let's dive deeper into how Roblox's entire sound ecosystem was disrupted and rebuilt, because this affected basically every game on the platform. For years, Roblox allowed anyone to upload audio files for a small Robux fee, and this created a massive library of music, sound effects, voiceovers, and ambient sounds that developers freely used in their games. But this system was completely unsustainable from a copyright perspective, because people were uploading thousands of copyrighted songs and sounds, and Roblox was technically liable for this. And in March 2022, Roblox dropped a bomb. They announced that audio longer than 6 seconds would become private, meaning only the uploader could use them, and this immediately broke tens of thousands of games overnight. Developers logged in to find their games had no music, no sound effects, nothing, and the community was furious because there was little warning and no good solution provided, and Roblox's toolbox of public sounds was limited, and developers scrambled to replace audio, but many games were abandoned or permanently lost their soundtracks, and this forced Roblox to completely rethink their audio system. They introduced several new features. The toolbox got expanded with copyright-free sounds. They partnered with APM Music to provide thousands of licensed tracks. They created the Creator Marketplace, where developers could share audio, and they launched Creator Music, allowing developers to license popular songs and compensate artists through gameplay. And these were good long-term solutions, but the transition was painful, and Roblox also had to deal with voice chat audio, which raised new challenges. How do you moderate voice conversations? How do you prevent harassment? How do you handle recordings? And by 2025, Roblox has built a much more sustainable audio system, but showed how legal realities like copyright law eventually catch up, even in fast-moving digital platforms. And the new audio system is better, but it came at significant cost to existing games and developer trust. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you learned something wild about Roblox today, and if you're still here, you're absolutely awesome. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment where you're from, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.